That WWE will inevitably ruin every single NXT favourite when they hit the main roster is an earned slice of pessimism evidenced by the likes of Asuka and Finn Balor who, let's be honest, aren't half as compelling as they were in developmental. Many among the current group just won't translate either. For a myriad of reasons, it's easy to see the likes of Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa and even Ricochet all struggling despite their obvious positive qualities. But while fans are right to be worried about any call-up these days, some of NXT's biggest and brightest will hit the main roster with more encouraging prognosis. Now this isn't just a mere list of NXT's best wrestlers, it's a list of those best equipped for a bigger spotlight. So with that in mind, I'm Andy for What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 NXT wrestlers too good to fail on WWE's main roster. Number 10. Io Shirai. Looking at how Asuka was booked for large parts of 2018, predicting that a smaller, less dangerous Japanese women's wrestler can't fail on the main roster does kind of set me up for failure, like some kind of big bald gimp, but we're currently witnessing a big change in how such performers get over. WWE's women's division is currently the hottest thing in American professional wrestling, and that is primarily on account of good old-fashioned work rate. Big matches like Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey versus, well, Charlotte Flair are the main reason for that, and Io Shirai is more than capable of hitting the same standards between the ropes. Now, as anyone who has ever seen her best work will attest, Shirai is one of the absolute best in the world. She spent years lighting up the Joshi scene before making the jump to WWE. Presuming the main roster style continues on its current course and WWE don't do something stupid like, I don't know, release her, Shirai is destined to play a big role for years to come, and her awesome in-ring ability will certainly be appreciated by many main roster fans. Number 9. DOMINIK DIJAKOVIC. If I can speak personally for a second, I was a tad concerned when WWE rebranded former independent standout Donovan Dijak in 2018. That was already a pretty badass name, so why go to the bother of adding an extra couple of syllables? Throw in the fact that they largely kept this talented bugger on the sidelines for well over a year after signing him in 2017, and the initial signs didn't look all that great. Fortunately, these were all blown away in the last few months of 2018. As Dijakovic's rebranding commenced with some awesome video packages before he was eventually reintroduced as this mental Ivan Drago XP, all steely-eyed stoic determination and hard-hitting impactful offense. If he dies, he dies. This is a tremendous gimmick for a guy who has never been the most outwardly charismatic or flamboyant, but can absolutely pull off the cold-blooded killer gimmick to perfection. Presenting him almost like a real combat sports athlete really works as well, and WWE have already created an aura around Big Dom, and the fact that he's an insane athlete, well, that doesn't exactly hurt things either. Here's to many, many years of all-round domination from the big lad. Number 8. Mia Yim. Now, she is only really just signed, but Yim is already one of the most well-rounded and polished women's wrestlers in WWE, with her varied skill set, experience, and familiarity with the company following both Mae Young Classics, putting her in good stead for the future. Her Impact Wrestling run means she's already comfortable working for TV audiences. She's pretty damn awesome at, well, everything, really. Expect big things from the former TNA Knockouts champion, who should become a divisional centerpiece for years to come, regardless of where she lands. Number 7. Pete Dunne. While he isn't a performance center full-timer, Dunne, as the WWE UK champion, has already been positioned as the heart of the NXT UK brand, and is a semi-regular fixture on developmental television as well, having starred in one of the Black and Gold brand's best matches of 2018 with Ricochet and, you know, that War Games thing. He's there, so he qualifies. Now, we already know that WWE's higher-ups are immensely fond of the Bruiserweight. More than any of his other British cohorts, Dunne draws constant praise whenever his name crops up. He has already starred in several of Triple H's weird Instagram mark pics since entering this world, and he's always presented strongly on TV regardless of whoever it is he's standing across the ring from. And on top of this, he's been WWE UK champion for about 900 days now. They clearly have the utmost faith in this young man. Now, Dunne is still in his mid-20s, so there's absolutely no need to rush him to the top. Still, he could arrive on the main roster tomorrow and not look one bit out of place, with his punishing wrestling style and impeccable heel work saving him from a pointless existence on 205 Live. And given that he just finished up on the UK indie scene, that moment may come sooner than anyone thinks. Number 6. Bianca Belair. Belair is far from the finished article and still lacks the in-ring polish needed for life on Raw or SmackDown, but that's why she's in NXT. To learn. Belair has several traits that just can't be taught. Charisma, swagger, presence, and the ability to convey her cocky personality through her work put her in extremely good steading for whatever happens going forward. Though very much still a work in progress, Belair's inevitable big takeover feuds and NXT Women's title reign, or perhaps reigns, are going to be fantastic. She's going to absolutely kill it when she faces Shayna Baszler at TakeOver Phoenix in January, and by that point, this incredible prospect should be absolutely Vince-proof. Number 5. Keith Lee. An awe-inspiring presence at 6'3" and well over 300 pounds, Lee not only unloads the expected array of power moves, but an assortment of flips straight out of a cruiserweight's playbook. It's unexpected, yet totally natural somehow, but Lee is so much more than a big guy doing flippy stuff. His bask in my glory shtick is money, and he has just the right amount of cockiness, and to top it all off, he can talk too, although we're yet to see much of that. As surefire takeover main eventer, the Limitless One is unlike anyone else in WWE, and he will thrive because of it. Now, it is about time WWE gave him something different to do in NXT, because admittedly, his run so far hasn't really got off the ground. The big man is way too good to be sitting on the sidelines, but rest assured, WWE will eventually find a way to fit him in, and when they do, he's going to be absolutely awesome. Number 4. EC3. Okay, so the former Derek Bateman isn't exactly the best wrestler on this list. In fact, well, he kinda sucks compared to some of these guys. He's a dated, old-fashioned sports entertainer in a hyper-athletic world, combining only rudimentary holds and moves with slow, lumbering movements. He isn't bad, but he doesn't really mesh with the likes of Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and everyone else. Regardless, the case for him making it on the main roster is simple. He ticks so many of Vince McMahon's boxes. He's big, he can talk, he plays a character well, he gets over, and most important of all, he looks great in a suit. Now, work rate is important on every single level of WWE's pyramid, but less so on the main roster. EC3 can get away with farting out 2.5-star specials on the mid-card because the other aspects of his performance are so damn strong, making him a good candidate for an immediate upper mid-card push as soon as he arrives. That moment will come very, very soon. We've already seen the vignettes. EC3 is on his way, and while he'd improve much beyond his current level at 35 years old, he's well equipped to do very, very well in the big bright lights. Number 3. Matt Riddle. The former UFC welterweight is one of the most affable guys in pro wrestling. On the indies, his every entrance was greeted by fervent bro chants, as the man himself cruised out to the impossibly smooth sounds of Warren G and Nate Dogg's Regulate, his grin wider than the Cheshire Cat's. Now, his WWE theme doesn't have the same kind of pop, but it's already generating the same kind of reactions, and that is very encouraging. It's Riddle's laid-back, cool and carefree attitude that make him such an easy guy to root for, and his prodigious in-ring talents don't exactly harm him either. The King of Bros demonstrated a natural aptitude for wrestling from day one. Mere weeks into his career, he was performing at a level that usually takes years to hit. Now, he's just one of the most adaptable wrestlers around. Riddle has grown immensely as an in-ring storyteller over the years, and while his gimmick will take some getting used to for main roster fans, he's just the real deal. If he fails on Raw or SmackDown, then frankly, there's no hope for anyone. Number 2. Shayna Baszler. The assertion that the Queen of Spades is going to kill it on Raw or SmackDown wasn't half as compelling, let's say, 9 months ago, but an outstanding 2018 and her friend Ronda Rousey's ongoing success earmarks Baszler as an NXT prospect with massive main roster potential. She, like many MMA to wrestling transplants, has learned how to utilize her old skills without turning to them as a crutch in this fake scripted world. Many will point to her big takeover matches with Kairi Sane and Ember Moon as highlights. Now, they'd be right, but if you look back at her brief spring program with Dakota Kai, you'll find further proof of Baszler's greatness. Their blow-off match was really brief, but they told a great story of bully versus victim, and they accomplished more in 5 minutes than many wrestlers do with 3 times that, with Shayna's domineering bully persona absolutely shining. A potential ready-made horsewoman versus horsewoman program provides the Queen of Spades with a clear pathway to immediate success. She'd also fit right in with all the mad, hard-hitting matches the likes of Asuka, Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch have been having for the past few months. So if Baszler loses the NXT Women's title anytime soon, get ready for the call-up. And at number 1, Adam Cole. And no, I'm not going to do the thing. Yes, Adam Cole is small. No, it doesn't matter. A 5-star worker, if not a 5-star wrestler, he would have stood no chance in a previous era, but wrestling's ongoing evolution away from big lumbering stiff negates that one big shortcoming. Adam Cole just knows how to get over. Charisma leaks from his every pore, he's a brilliant sleazy personality, and he dominates every single building he walks into. That's what professional wrestling is all about, and that's primarily why he'll be a main roster success whenever he's called up. Cole has been preparing himself for main roster success for years. Every part of his act has been developed with this in mind, from his promo cadence to the way he lays out his matches. Now, he has worked plenty of dangerous bouts on the indies, of course, but nowhere near the same volume as the likes of Ricochet and many of his other peers, preserving his body for the moments he finally arrives on wrestling's biggest stage. Now, that moment is almost here, and the Undisputed Era leader is on the cusp